Okay, so we are actually going, let me switch my camera so you can see what we're going to be doing today. It's our Creative Corner Social Hour. And today I'm actually going to teach something that is a layout that's so incredibly easy, you're never going to believe it. So what you're going to need is one piece of a cardstock for your base. You're going to need either scraps or one piece of designer paper that you like both sides. For the one that I'm going to do tonight, I'm actually using matte packs from the Tropic Time that I don't normally use these huge matte packs, so I'm going to be using some of these and some paper from that pack as well. You're going to need the square punch. And if you don't have the square punch, I'm going to show you another way you can work around that. But the square punch makes life much easier. We're going to use the 12-inch trimmer, which is a godsend. I love that. And of course, the repositionable adhesive and your corner rounder. This is a two-way corner rounder. So it rounds it, or you get a postage stamp kind of edge on this end here. So this is the layout that I'm going to show you. Now, the way that I did this is I used the Q the Blue bundle that is on our website. It's definitely one of my favorites. I think the layout came out really amazing. Everything that you see here is from that collection. The embellishments, and the paper, except for the white cardstock, that is all from that collection. So you don't need your base paper right now. What you're going to want to do, and Alex, I know that you don't have the square punch yet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show how you can do this with the trimmer. I have a piece of scrap paper right here. So what you're going to need is you're going to need 20 1 3/4 by 1 3/4 squares. So if you happen to be using scrap paper, you're just going to measure to the 1 3/4 on your trimmer. And I'm just going to double check my measurements, which yes, indeed, I am correct. And then what you're going to do is, so you could do your 1 3/4 by 12 or whatever size paper you have there. And then you're just going to turn it and you're going to cut squares that are another 1 3/4. So it'll be a 1 3/4 by 1 3/4 square, and you need to have 20. So I'm doing this to show you how you can do it with the trimmer. Now I picked this paper because I do like both sides. So I'm going to cut a couple of squares from here, and then I'm going to switch over to the square punch to show you how easy it is. But I will need my trimmer again for the second step. With the square punch, you would hold this down and slide to unlock it. Now I'm going to take a matte pack so I can show you how to do it with this. Now this is not double-sided because this matte pack is actually a journal square on the other side. But I like this pattern. And if you're going to be using patterns, you need to just be mindful of how they're going to look. This is a square, so it's not so bad. I always punch these upside down so I can not waste as much paper. So what I do is I just look and slide it to the window to the edge so I don't see any more blank space. Squeeze, and I have my square. And then I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to slide it over till I don't see any more blank space. and punch again. And so you do that so you're going to get the most out of the paper that you have. Now these are 4 and 3. Oh, you know what? Let me look up before I make a liar out of myself. This is the larger, I'll show you what they are. This is the larger mats from the Tropic Time Variety Mat Pack. And this is actually the larger size, which is the 4.5 by 6.5. So since I don't use those, I figured, well, why not? Why don't I punch some squares out? Now, what I usually do is I count them. Now, since these, I'm going to do this for now. It's kind of like playing cards. I'm going to punch some squares, and these are what you're doing is you're going to be, they're all scraps, so you're going to be mixing and matching. So I wouldn't worry too much about how many of each you have. If you're using the double-sided paper, what you're going to do is you're going to cut 20 squares, try to get 20 squares out of the one piece. If you can't, then you might want to cut 10 out of one and 10 out of the other. It's up to you. I'm going to punch a few more out of here. I really like this paper an awful lot. So again, slide it over to where you can't see anything else. Do it again. And I enjoyed punching a square so much yesterday, I ended up punching extra squares because I know that I'm going to be doing this layout again. So now I'm going to use these green palm fronds and do the same thing. And you just keep punching. Till you have 20. Now, step 2, after you punch all of your squares out, you have your 20 squares, is that you're going to want to take a piece of corresponding pattern paper. If your squares are multicolored, you can just pick something that corresponds that you like. Usually a light colored, not too light, but if you have a white background. But you'll want to pick a corresponding piece of pattern paper, and you're going to cut an 8 by 8 square with that for the center. And what I mean by that is you can see that on my page right here, since I had a white background, I picked the Delft blue flowers as my 8 by 8 piece. I'm just going to punch a few of these because I do not want to waste time. And again, I just find that this square punch, there's a circle punch. I just find that this is so much easier to use. All right, I cut 4 of those. And my last one, which I have quite a few here, so I'm hoping I got 20. If not, I can actually cut a couple more. And in case anyone might notice, I had got my stitches out today, so there's no bandage on my hand. All righty, so I'm going to slide that over. And the Tropic Time paper is just so beautiful. I love it. So what I'm going to do is I am going to pick a piece of paper that I like, which I think I might actually go with this piece right here. I'm either going to use this stripes or I'm going to use the other side, which is these really cool flowers. But it kind of clashes with that. So I'm thinking I'm going to go with that because that's more neutral. So next, I need a piece of cardstock. So I can use anything like white, seems to be my favorite. But I don't know. No, that's blue. That doesn't help me. That's blue. I put it back in the wrong spot. Oh, I know what I'm going to use. I know. Sorry about that. Sorry about that. I am going to go for light gray. Now, unfortunately, light gray is not a color that we have anymore, but I am out of white. So I'm going to improvise for now. I have to order some more cardstock. So what we're going to do, take our trimmer, pull out the arm, and the trimmer goes up to 16 inches wide, which is fantastic. And I'm going to cut this 8 by 8. Now, a little trick that was taught to me yesterday. Now, this is our 13 by 13 mat. And it does help you measure. So you'll want to take this. You can use a ruler, but I am going to just use this piece of paper for now because it is 12 inches wide. So you're going to want to go down 2 inches to the 2-inch mark. Or you can guesstimate. You don't have to be perfect. And that is, you can put your centerpiece in there. Now, of course, you want your centerpiece to be not sideways, not, crooked. I'm not going to glue this down yet because I want to start to lay out my squares. So if you see on this one, I did alternate light and dark because I did use the one piece of paper. Now this one I'm using scraps. So you're going to have 6 across, 6 down, and 6 across the bottom. So what you're going to want to do is, the reason why this mat is so nice is because the squares actually fit. You're going to put them in between. You can start with the center if you like and put them on each side of the 6-inch mark at the top. And then the squares literally go in between every 2-inch increments. For those of us who are precise, is how I'm going to say it. So literally, if you see, it's between the 2 and the 4-inch mark on that side. Thank you. All right. And green. And this is between the, so then here we are. So I'm not gluing anything down just yet, because I want to just lay them out to see how I like them. Now, the way my brain works is I would love to go ahead and repeat this pattern, but I'm going to mix it up. I'm going to fight my brain. So you're just kind of laying them out and seeing what you like, which ones you want to put there. I'm going to put the green one there. I'll put that one there. And I'll put this one here. And then we'll go with green. And when you lay these out, even if you don't want to measure, when you lay these out, you'll be able to see where your square in the middle does go. Because you can position it. Excuse me, sir. Are you here to scrapbook with us today? No, are you here to scrapbook with us today? I don't think so. No, I don't think you are. Excuse me, go ahead. Go ahead. Go. Thank you. All right, so, and I almost think if the square in the middle makes you too crazy, I would lay out your squares because you have your measurements and then go ahead and plop that down in the middle. I almost think that might be a little bit easier. See what happens when you do something more than one time and you're like, oh yeah, that makes a lot more sense. All right, and I'm going to take this one here. And then I have one more side. Okay, I really like this one. They remind me of dandelion fluff. Alex, boy, oh boy, you got that done really quick.
That's not glued, I just have it laying here.
I am actually going to substitute this one here for this one, because I like that a little bit better. We'll put this here and then this here. Okay. So I now have my entire layout here. Now I'm not going to take the time to go ahead and glue this all down yet, because I want to show you the next step. You're going to take your, the camera needs to refocus. Okay, you're actually going to take your, you can or cannot, it is in your preference. You can take, I'm going to take a blank square because I think I'm going to leave those that way. You would take your corner rounder, stick it in, hold it, and you can punch all four corners. Well, that wasn't even. Or you have the option, if you just want to round 2 corners. Or you can leave them squares. If you like this, the look where it's just squares, you can leave the look with it just as squares. So, like I said, I personally think it's a little easier to glue down your 8x8 piece after you've glued down your squares. So now that I've laid mine out, I'm going to leave this one squared only because I've already done one with the rounded corners. Alex, which one are you going to be picking? Are you going to round your corners?
I'm doing the corner ones first and then seeing how I like it and going from there.
That's a good idea, where you just go ahead and you're just rounding the one, you know, the corners, and see how that looks. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start to use my repositionable adhesive. And I'm going to start to glue down my pieces. And again, I'm going to use my mat to help me measure. And I'm going to do it where I'm going to do my outside corners first. And the nice part about the repositionable adhesive is if you don't like where they end up, you could just pick them up. Are you going to round all your pieces, Alex?
No, I like it with just the corner ones, so I'm gonna just leave it like that.
Okay. So after I get the corners of the bottom done, what I'm going to do is I'm going to adhere the 2 that are on either side of the 6-inch. And remember, there is no such thing as perfect in scrapbooking. It is just yours. And then I'll do the 2 outer on the other side of those 6-inch. And again, it's the mat helps you measure because you're going to have them in between. Whoop, now I gotta put that one on. All right, and so then you would just continue to do the same thing and do all your squares. No, that one's a little too high. Okay, so now what I was looking for on my, which I probably put away yesterday, was my multi-purpose tool. So I could lift up the square. Thankfully, I have nails, and reposition it the way that I want it. And so do it any way that you feel more comfortable and the way that it looks good for you. Because we're going to embellish this anyway. So you're going to be able to, if there's any little things that you don't really like, you can actually embellish. I just want to get two sides down so you can kind of see. I do like that idea, Alex, of doing the four corners. You know, that is a very good idea. And now see, now I'm getting a little crooked. I have to fix that. All right, so I have a backwards L shape down, and I'm going to show you about putting the 8x8 in the middle. So all I'm going to do is take my 8x8 piece, and again, you decide which you like better. What side do I like better? This side clashes too much, so I'm going to use the other side, and I have to decide, do I like it like this, or do I like it the pattern like this? I'm going to do it the up and down. So I'm just going to turn it over and add my adhesive. And you don't need a ton, which is wonderful. I especially make sure that I get my edges and a little bit in the center. So what I'm going to do now is, and you can hear Grizzly in the background, is put my 8x8 piece down. Now, the way that I finish this off, after you have your squares adhered, on top of this, I used 4 3.5 by 3.5 inch squares, which would be where my 3x3 pictures would go. I'd put 4 3x3 pictures. Or if you wanted, before I embellished the center, if you wanted to, you could actually put a 4x6 landscape kind of off center and 2 3.5 by 3.5. So just you play with it and see how you like your layout. I mean, I really enjoyed it. I actually took squares from the embellishment pack and added that on. And then this is also from the embellishment pack, and I made a layered sticker out of it. So it popped up and it gave it a little dimension. In the same collection, same bundle, they actually do give you epoxy circles that you could put on some of the squares to dress them up as well. But since I don't know what pictures I'm going to be putting on that yet, I didn't put any of those. Or I could put an epoxy sticker right here. It's a circle. It's actually very pretty. But wasn't going to embellish this anymore because I don't know which pictures I'm going to put on here yet. And so this layout, I'm going to do a little bit different. I'm going to do a 4x6 photo and 2 3.5 by 3.5. So the layout is really, really simple, and I encourage you to try it yourself. If you do make the layout, I would ask you share it on my Facebook page, which is Susan CM, C as in cat, M as in Mary. And I would say that this layout might actually appear again, but with different paper and different embellishments for another occasion. And I keep knocking this over. So I hope you enjoyed this simple layout. It really is so simple to do. And I do hope that you're going to try it on your own. So I'm going to sign off of Zoom now, but you can find these supplies on my website, which is www.creativememories.com/C as in cat, M as in Mary, /Susan, SUSAN, Lepore, Lepore. So if you have any questions, you can leave a comment in the video below. Or you can, like I said, you can reach me on Facebook. You can reach me on Instagram. You can which is Susan CM99. You can reach me on email, which is the same. It's actually SueNJ99 with the Yahoo. Yahoo. You can reach me there. So I am very happy to help you and answer any questions that you might have and to meet all of your paper crafting needs. Yeah. So I hope everybody has a great night, and I will see you back on YouTube again really soon. All right. Take care. Bye-bye now.